A Manchester United Academy kid is turning heads more than almost any new signing this summer, and it cost the club nothing, £0. Not because nobody wanted him, because he was already theirs. His name is Shea Lacey, and if you haven't heard it yet, you're about to hear it a lot. This is a Liverpool-born winger who was doing Elastico flicks at 3 years old, joined United's academy at 4, and just weeks ago walked into a preseason friendly against Atletico Madrid and basically took the game over. No transfer fee, no release clause, no bidding war, just a kid who's been quietly getting better and better at Carrington while everyone else was watching the transfer market instead. Okay, but why does that actually matter? Because this summer Manchester United spent big money rebuilding the attack again, and yet one of the most exciting performers in the entire preseason isn't a new signing at all. It's a homegrown teenager who cost nothing and who's now making Michael Carrick's team selection genuinely difficult. Let's rewind, because his story isn't your usual academy hype piece. Lacey's family are Liverpool fans through and through. His dad played in Liverpool's own academy back in the day. But when it came time to sign his sons up, he sent them to Manchester United instead, because he felt the setup and the coaching would develop them better. So Shea Lacey has literally been a United player since he was 4 years old, growing up inside a fan base that isn't even his own family's. Here's a fun detail. When he was just 3, before he even joined United, Lacey was already doing the Elastico, that flick Ronaldinho made famous, in the street outside his house. Coaches who saw him at that age knew straight away there was something different about how his feet worked. That's not the kind of thing you can teach a toddler. Either you've got that natural feel for the ball or you don't, and Lacey clearly had it from day one. He's not a big lad either. He's around 5'6", and in modern football that usually means you need something extra just to survive, let alone thrive. That something extra is his feet and his brain. From a young age, coaches noticed he wasn't the fastest or the strongest kid on the pitch, but he had this rare ability to slow the game down. While other players panic on the ball, Lacey waits. He lets the defender commit first, then he's gone. It's the kind of instinct that's really hard to coach into someone, and it's why people started throwing around nicknames like the Scouse Messi and comparing him to players like Phil Foden and Eden Hazard. Now, comparisons like that are dangerous. Every talented kid in England gets compared to somebody great before they've even played a full season of senior football, so let's not get carried away just yet. But it does tell you how highly people around the game already rate him. And it's worth pointing out, he's not a one-trick winger stuck on the touchline either. He's played as a right winger, as a left-sided attacker cutting inside, and now as a central attacking midfielder for Carrick. That kind of flexibility matters a lot to a modern coach because it means you're not just hoping for one system to work, you've got a player who can slot into several. He signed his first professional contract at 17, and at United that only happens if the club already rates you very highly. Not long after, he suffered an injury that kept him out for around 6 months, which is a tough setback for any young player trying to build momentum. He came back from that, kept improving, and started training regularly with the first team at Carrington. In December 2025, he made his senior debut, coming on as a substitute in a defeat to Aston Villa. That made him the 256th academy graduate to play for United's first team, a number that tells you exactly how selective that club is with handing out debuts. Around the same time, his performances started catching attention beyond Manchester too. He trained with England's senior squad under Thomas Tuchel, while representing the under-20s, after impressing during a run of appearances that included a man-of-the-match display against Notts County. For an 18-year-old still trying to nail down a regular first-team spot at club level, that's a serious vote of confidence from the national setup. But here's where the story really speeds up. This pre-season, under new head coach Michael Carrick, Lacey didn't just get a look in. He became one of the standout performers on the entire tour. United's pre-season started roughly, with a defeat to Wrexham in Helsinki, a game where United just couldn't find a way through. Then came Rosenborg, and United battered them 5-0 in Trondheim. Lacey scored the opening goal himself, a composed curling finish after a lovely ball in from Joshua Zirkzee, playing as the attacking midfielder alongside Mason Mount and Andre Santos. Not bad company to be starting games with. Let's stay on Rosenborg for a second, because it's worth painting the picture properly. United didn't just win that game, they were ruthless. Joshua Zirkzee got on the score sheet too, along with a few of United's other young attackers. And the whole performance had that feeling of a team clicking into gear after a shaky start to pre-season. Right in the middle of it was a 19-year-old cutting inside from the left, slowing the play right down at the exact moment defenders expected him to speed up, before curling the ball into the far corner. That single moment told you everything about how he plays. He doesn't panic into decisions, he waits for the game to open up for him. Then came the real test. Atletico Madrid, one of the toughest, most physical sides in Europe, even missing some of their big names who were still on a break after the World Cup. Lacey started again as the number 10. And instead of getting overwhelmed, he was arguably United's best player on the pitch. He won the penalty that got United back into the game, drawing a foul inside the box that Brian Mbeumo converted to make it 1-1, before Mbeumo added a second to win it 2-1. The numbers from that game are wild for a teenager going up against senior professionals. 100% cross accuracy, 30 touches, 7 ball recoveries, 4 passes into the final third, and 2 successful take-ons before he was subbed off in the 73rd minute. Now here's where it gets interesting. It isn't just about the highlight moments, it's about how calm he looked doing it. Most young players either try to do too much or freeze completely against opposition that good. Lacey did neither. He kept possession, linked up with senior players like Ahmad, and looked like someone who belonged there, not someone just hoping to survive 90 minutes. And it's not only pre-season friendlies that back this up. Back with United's under-21s in the Premier League too, Lacey already had 8 goals and an assist from limited minutes by early February, including a hat-trick in a 5-1 win over West Brom's under-21s. So this isn't a one-off pre-season bounce. It's a continuation of a pattern he's been building all season. Of course, none of this means he's the finished article. Let's be honest about that. He's still a teenager, still learning senior football, still adjusting to a level where defenders don't care how good your highlight reel looks, and where one bad run of games can change the whole conversation around a player overnight. Pre-season form is pre-season form. It isn't the same as a wet Tuesday night in the Premier League with the crowd on your back. Every academy has produced a next big thing who never quite made that final step. Talent gets you noticed. It doesn't guarantee anything after that. And his injury history is a reminder that his body still has to hold up as the physical demands increase, week after week, against defenders who are bigger, stronger, and a lot less forgiving than the ones he faced at academy level. But Manchester United clearly believe this one's different, because they've made a decision that tells you everything. Reports say the club has no plans to loan Shea Lacey out this summer. Instead, he's staying at Carrington, training daily with the first team, competing for minutes instead of being sent away to develop elsewhere. Clubs like United don't keep academy kids around the senior squad out of sentiment. They do it because they think that player can actually help them win football matches, right now or very soon. And maybe that's the real story here. While other clubs hand over enormous transfer fees this summer chasing the next big thing, Manchester United might already have theirs, drawing comparisons to players like Phil Foden and Eden Hazard, wearing squad number 61, a number that could look very different a year from now. Think about how rare this actually is. Big clubs usually find their next star through months of scouting trips, agent meetings, and transfer fees that run into the tens of millions. United found theirs training a few hundred yards from Old Trafford, for free, and almost by accident, because a Liverpool dad wanted better facilities for his sons. That's the kind of story football doesn't hand out very often, and it's why this one is worth paying attention to. So here's the question. Is Shea Lacey actually ready to become a regular part of Michael Carrick's Manchester United, or is this just a really good pre-season that fades once the real fixtures start? I genuinely don't know yet. Nobody does. But I'd love to know what you think. Drop a comment and tell me if you reckon Shea Lacey makes it, or if he's just another Academy hype story. See you in the next one, and don't forget to hit subscribe if you want more of these stories.